Hey, I'm James Lehman.
I'm Queso Minzy.
Hey, I'm Xavier Bruchon.
And I'm Joanna Pinero. And we're in
C1
Major Jones class.
So James, what's it like being at West Point?
Well, since I've been here, I've noted slugs tend to not be as happy as athletes. Isn't that interesting?
It's a great observation. Makes you question if cadets' times in barracks affects their happiness levels.
Joanna, how the heck are we even going to answer that?
Well, that's a great question. We're going to take a random sample of 300 cadets of all different extracurriculars and clubs, and we're going to assign them to different groups, break up into 100 cadets each.
Our hypothesis for this experiment is that the more time you spend in the barracks, the less happy a cadet is. Our null hypothesis rejecting that is the more time spent in the barracks does not have any effect on the happiness.
Using our population of interest, the Corps of Cadets, the independent variable is the amount of time in hours that a cadet is allowed to spend in the barracks. Our dependent variable is happiness levels, determined by using a scale of 1 to 10 of a cadet's mood over a week's time.
Our experimental group is 200 cadets that are asked to modify their schedule, but still give us their mood levels on a weekly basis. We're going to ask these cadets to give us their baseline time in barracks, and through that, we're going to split them up into two groups. We have group 1 and group 3. For our control variable, or our controlled group, we have 100 cadets that we will not ask to modify their schedule, but we will ask for their time in the barracks and their mood meters throughout the week.
In group 1, we're going to take 100 of the 300 cadets that we have and limit them to 4 hours of time spent in the barracks. This, of course, like the rest of them, is not going to include taps to morning formation, so they get adequate amount of sleep at night.
So for group 2, this is our control group. So that means we're not changing the independent variable, and we're going to allow them to live their life as they wish and not restrict any time.
And for our last group, group 3, they will have 7 hours in the barracks, not including taps and morning formation.
We were asked for 300 cadets to fill out a mood meter, happiness meter, on a scale 1 to 10, from unhappy to very happy. We'll do this over the course of 2 semesters, ensuring that we switch the groups at the halfway point in order to not be affected by the gray period.
Hold on. Why are we calling it a mood meter when we're measuring happiness?
I think it's simple, okay? We're getting rid of the demand characteristics in order to increase the internal validity of our experiment.
Oh, that makes sense.
Oh, hey, I didn't see you there. So, you might be wondering about the ethical concerns of our experiment, and we thought of that. We reviewed each cadet's schedule and gave them a set time, 4 or 7 hours, based off of their already established schedule. This prevents any negative connotations on their social environment, and we also make sure we don't affect TAPS or their academic schedule. Who's that white monster?
So Joanna, have you seen this in the real world?
That's a really great question. Like, in the real world, I don't know if you guys remember, in 2020, we had this thing called COVID, where we were inside all of the time, and that affected our mental health and our happiness so much.
James, look what I found. Okay, so when I was doing research, apparently USA Today said that previous research found that 90% of people spend close to 22 hours inside every day. Can you believe that? 1 in 6 respondents to the YouGov survey, too, admitted that they practically never go outside. They're spending up to 24 hours a day staying indoors.
Some even more interesting research that we just found is by this doctor that was talking about cabin fever. Cabin fever, it's not a mental illness or a disorder, but it's more of a psychological condition, that arises from feeling of being alone or stuck in a confined space, almost like a cadet in their little gray cell, as we call it. And Dr. Priyanka, MD, Chief Medical Officer for MindPath Health, said that once we start to feel stuck, our mind extrapolates it into several other negative emotions to make us feel like there's no way out of this and that things will only get worse, showing that some previous research of just being stuck in this confined space can have effects or negative effects on people's mood and happiness.